This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Belle's Books. I am Miranda, and today I feel like we have a very fun episode planned here, which I think they're all fun, honestly. But we're going to kick things off with our normal segments, no problems. You're going to get book news, you're going to get an adaptation minute, and then we're going to dive into some nostalgia, I believe, for both of us. Because, as we told you last time, it's been 20 years since Twilight was first published. Actually, as of yesterday, the day recording this, yesterday, 20 years, Twilight has been published. So we thought it would be a perfect time to revisit the series that defined basically a whole era of YA reading. So, I can't do that alone, though. As always, I've told you before, you don't want a Miranda TED Talk. So, let me introduce to you the Alice to my Bella. Bianca!
Hello!
Actually, I'd probably be more Alice than Bella, but, you know.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit more Bella. I'm a little more reserved.
Yeah, so you're probably the Bella to my Alice. I'm weird, and I accept it. It's okay.
Hey, at least neither of us are Rosalie.
That poor girl. I mean, you hate her for so long, and then you're like, oh no, I feel bad.
You just grow to understand her. I don't think anyone actually likes her. You just understand where she's coming from.
She doesn't really want anyone to like her, though. So, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
It works.
What you been up to, Miranda?
Packing. So, we're not sharing this out into the universe for everyone, but we're actually on video with each other, so we can see each other, because we love each other. And she saw my face. That went along with the packing.
It was the most plastered smile I've ever seen in my life.
Because that's how I feel. That's how I feel. And then, to top it all off, my mother sends me this video of this boat at one of the harbors in America losing all of the cargo crates off of the boat.
I saw that. Everything just went...
And then, it just went...
Yeah, like dominoes.
Yeah. I had my mom send it to me and another friend send it to me. And both of them obviously know that we're moving. Like, there's a bunch of people in our life that don't know. And yes, I know I'm saying this publicly on a podcast, but none of the people listen. And, but 2 people sent me this. And I'm like, why? Why? I'm making Bianca choke. She's laughing so hard. I'm thinking to myself, why would you send me a video of like this right now? Well, I'm literally, look, behind me, Bianca can see it. Yeah. I'm literally packing up my entire life to put it on a boat to ship back to America. And my mom's like, let me show her where these people's stuff all fell into the ocean. She's like, well, you have insurance.
That doesn't replace the things, though.
There's a lot of this stuff that could not be replaced.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. I would not send that to you. That would stress me out. Mm-mm.
Oh, and then somebody else to send it to you on top of that? I was like,
no.
Y'all be evil. That's what
were they just sending it to you just to share, hey, this happened? Or was it like a warning of, hey, this could happen?
No, my mom's message that went with it said, maybe you should get extra insurance.
I was like, well, maybe they just wanted to share a video with you. Because sometimes I don't think about the context of it.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, they'll want to see this.
I genuinely think Danny was just sharing it to share it because it was in our group with me, him, Kelly, and Blake.
Yeah.
So I genuinely do think Danny was like, oh my God, look at this shit. And my mom, however, is like, hey, how much insurance you got? The problem is I dreamed about it for the next 3 nights.
Well, it's like when we took our first cruise, 8 years ago, for some reason, I haven't watched this movie since I was probably 12 years old. But not a knock against the movie. I just haven't watched it in forever.
Right.
But for some reason, the night before our cruise, I watched Poseidon.
Why would you do that?
And then I dreamed about Poseidon. I was like, well, okay, this is going to be a fun trip.
That's like when you're like, I want to go on a cruise, and they start sending you links to all the bad things that have happened on a cruise. And I'm like, listen, does bad things happen on land?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
it's like everyone was sending the link to the Poop Cruise Netflix documentary.
Yeah.
Because they know we sail with Carnival when we do go on cruises. And I'm like, I have never had this happen before. That was like a freak accident.
And you've been on like how many cruises? 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know people that go on cruises like every single year.
Yeah.
Like, I have one friend that her and her husband have been on a cruise every year since they've been married. She's like, in 25 years of cruising, this has never happened. Never. Like, she's like, now I have some funny stories. They do. She does have funny stories about swingers. They're not swingers, but she says there's always swingers, it seems like, on every cruise they take part in. And she's like, how do we keep getting put on the boat with all the swingers?
I've never ran into a swinger that I know of, I guess.
Apparently there's a lot in cruise world.
I will say on the last cruise we went on, we were just exploring the ship, and I forget what floor we were on, but we walked by this one doorway and it had like police caution tape like all over it, like not as decoration, like it was for real. And then there's like a cruise group on Facebook that you can join.
Yeah.
They create one for each cruise. And everyone was like, what's going on this door? And like these people got super rowdy and they were basically banned from leaving their stateroom.
Oh. No. But no pineapples? You didn't see any upside down pineapples?
No pineapples.
No pineapples. You're lucky that, well, I mean, I don't know. Some of those swinger people apparently are really fun and don't try to get you involved in their stuff because they want to like do their own thing. Like, I don't know, but I have one friend that she's like, I swear to God, it's like every other cruise we go on, we end up on it with like a floor of swingers. And she goes, and they are super nice. And she's like, they never try to involve us. She's like, but oh my God, do they drink and party? And like, all they do is drink and party. They literally come on there to do that. And I'm like, because I've never been on a cruise. I want to go on a cruise so bad. I'm going to have to be like extra. Like when next time you guys go with James and Susan, I'm just going to have to like toddle alone or make Hope go with me. Hoping I can pair up together and be like, woohoo! Because my husband and my son have zero desire to be on a ship like that.
We like them just because it's so custom. Like if you want to go and party, you can go party, but that's not our thing. So we have a chill vacation when we take cruises.
Yeah. No, so. I want to go do some excursions, but I'd want to like be on the deck and just read my book.
Yeah.
Or like go to dinners and like have a couple of drinks. I'm not in here for a bunch of drinks. I mean, come on. I got tea and water. That's like, you know, I have like 2 drinks and I start turning real pink and I get real hot.
You start morphing.
I do. I morph.
Well, we do have some book news to actually talk about things relevant to this podcast.
I was getting there. I was about to turn it around. You didn't let me segue.
Well, first, we do want to mention that Rebecca Yarros has announced that she is opening her own online shop. Mm-hmm. It is not up and running yet, but if you go to RebeccaYarrosShop.com, you can type in your email and you will be notified when it does go live. Mm-hmm. She did say that the stuff that's going to be in the store is not going to be limited edition. So even though they're going to have like small runs of everything the first few times, it will not be limited and everything will be restocked.
Yeah. It's more of my understanding or my thought process to this is like, we're not doing limited, but we're going to learn what people, instead of like going out and mass producing and being like, oh crap, people aren't buying this. They're going to do like small batch for the first little bit to determine what the trends, what the likes, what sells, what doesn't.
Yeah.
And then kind of go from there. It's making me think of the Colleen Hoover one, which I have bought you stuff from before. I'm wondering if it's kind of going to be along that, like sweatshirts and I'm hoping there's a good hoodie in there for sure.
Yeah. I'm also wondering if she's going to use more than just the Fourth Wing stuff and see if she's going to do anything with her actual romance books. Because that'll be interesting.
It would be interesting. What I will say though is I feel like most people know her because of Fourth Wing.
Yeah.
I didn't know who she was before Fourth Wing.
No, I didn't either.
I have some friends that are like, oh, I did. And apparently I actually spoke to, because my husband is in Army Aviation and has been in and stationed at a lot of the same places that her husband has been at the same time. but like we don't know them. But he is in pilot world, and we're not pilots, we're crew chiefs. We actually do have 2 pilot friends that do remember him and have flown with him. But like, I vaguely kind of knew who she was because I looked back through some stuff, and I guess she was in some same groups while I was there. But like, I don't remember her. Like, I don't know that I ever, like, if I ever met her, it was like, oh, hi, nice to meet you, and like walked forward because there was another spouse there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying I've met her. I'm saying, like, I didn't know anything about her, but a whole lot of our friends are like, oh yeah, don't you remember? And I'm like, I do not. I do not. No offense, I love her now, but like, it would have been cool if I'd been like, oh, remember when? But
yeah,
no, I don't.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Next, Colleen Hoover has announced a new book. Finally, it has been a dry desert for Coho fans.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to read this.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so at first, Bianca was super excited because she's finally getting a new Colleen Hoover book after like 5 years. I forget when the last one was published, but it's been a hot minute.
But I will look. Go ahead.
It's been a hot minute, but it's going to be called Woman Down. It is coming January 13th, so not too far away, just a couple months. Yeah. But when I actually looked up what it was about, I just kind of sighed and I laughed and I was like, okay, Colleen.
I'm sorry. I can't listen. I wish I had saved the joke I had in me for when we were on air, because it's not going to work now, but like,
it'll still work.
I need you to read this though. This is making my day.
This is directly from the Amazon little synopsis thing. Uh-huh. Her words used to set the page on fire, but a viral backlash over her latest film adaptation forced Petra Rose to take a hiatus, resulting in missed deadlines and an overdue mortgage. Branded a fraud and fame-hungry opportunist, she learns the hard way what happens when the internet turns on you. And she's been uninspired to write ever since.
Real life,
y'all. She just basically wrote about her life for the past 2 years.
Also, it was 2022. It was reminded
about
again
3 years.
2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is basically just her life for the past 2 or 3 years. Mm-hmm. And the main character's name is Petra. If you have watched Jane the Virgin, you know Petra is a main character. I was like, Colleen, I cannot keep fighting fires for you.
Listen, I had read the synopsis like briefly when she first announced it, and then I like skimmed over it, I guess, but I was not paying too much attention. But Bianca just read it for me before we started recording, because I was like, hey, is this going to be Verity-esque? And she goes, did you not read it? I said, I don't remember. So she reads it to me. Y'all, she straight up picked a side. Like, she's telling us. I guess you have to be like, you have to know Baldoni, I guess, and maybe Jane the Virgin. You have to know the backstory to it. But, like, to me, that's picking a side.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and what kills me is, like, she was so vocal for Blake when everything first started.
Because I think, genuinely at the time, just my opinion, I know we said we were not going to talk about this anymore, but yes, we are. Let's just admit it. We're going to talk about this.
We're going to talk about this until, what, March? Is that when the first court date is set?
That's the first court date. Like, yeah. So let me just say this real quick. I genuinely believe that she picked the side she did in the beginning because she was going off the information she had at the time. And then just like us, as things started getting released in real time, and also, like, I hate to say this, but, like, women want to believe women. Right?
Yeah.
We should. It's happened for too many years where we don't believe each other and people don't believe us. So I understand why that was the initial jump. Like, I'm going to believe her because she's never shown me any different. And then the information starts coming out and she's like, oh. You know.
Yeah. So it does intrigue me. And there's more to the synopsis. I just read the first two little paragraphs, but it is going to be more thriller-esque and less romancy. So
I think the last one I read, you bought me Reminders of Him because you said, I need you to read it. And I said, I will try. And I did read it. I didn't love it. You and I read It Starts With Us that came out also in 2022. Yeah. We read that one together and talked about it on here, and we both had a lot of feelings. I don't remember which episode that was. I'll try to find it. And then I honestly haven't liked anything. This is going to sound horrible. I haven't really liked anything of hers since All Your Perfects in 2018.
Yeah, because like you said, the last 2 or 3 we've read have been just kind of meh. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that since she had this hiatus, that this is actually going to be like gripping.
I hope so. And honestly, I'm here for the tea of it all too, because I know this is fictional, but you just read that, and there's a lot of nonfiction going on. So I'm reading it for the pure like nosiness of it all, straight up. Not even going to pretend that there's any other reason that I'm reading this.
Sure.
There is no other reason I'm being nosy. I want to know.
And then the last thing we have is that I stumbled on this article. Mm-hmm. It is over a year old. It's from April of 2024, but I think it still holds up. Mm-hmm. And in the terms of research, I think it's fairly recent. But it is titled, Are You in the Top Half of Readers? The Surprising Reading Habits of American Adults. Goes over The Economist. It had surveyed 1,500 American adults in mid-December 2023, mostly about politics, but a few questions centered on books. And we're just going to go over the stats that are in this because I think it's very eye-opening.
I was kind of surprised by some of the stats, to be extremely honest with you. Now, these are all 2023 statistics, but I was still surprised by some of them. I'm not going to lie.
Well, and it probably hasn't changed too much in 2 years.
I would say not. Maybe in some of the statistics, like one of the sections is most popular genres. That probably hasn't a more shift to it than other statistics.
But it contains a chart from the Washington Post, and it's what percent are you among readers, and it's how many books you read in 2023 and the percentile that puts you in. Mm-hmm. If you read just one book in 2023, you are in the 46th percentile.
That's insane. I really thought it would have. I don't know. I don't know what I thought, but.
And then it goes through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When it gets to 10, it starts skipping a few. And then let's just say if you read 20 books a year, you are in the 88th percentile.
Which amongst a lot of the people that I know personally, 20 to 30 is average.
And that's just among readers. Mm-hmm. And 30 books is in the 92nd percentile. If you read 50 or more books per year, you're in the 99th percentile.
These are like those charts when you have a kid where they do your kid's height and stuff, and they're like, your kid is in this percentile.
And they did include audiobooks in this.
As they should.
When they say reading a book, they are including audiobooks.
Yes!
Which I think that's good, especially from 2023.
Yeah. Because I think I had given a statistic on our TikTok. I'd have to go back and make sure I quoted it precisely. But it was talking about the statistics of people that finish a audiobook more than as far as like not DNFing.
Yeah.
The percentage of people that actually complete an audiobook versus completing a physical book are higher.
Okay. It goes on to break it down by genre. So which genres are the most popular. And it breaks it down by genre. And then at the top, it also has the age range.
I love that.
So like what's popular among what age ranges. The most popular overall is history for 20% total of all readers. The least popular is poetry, only accounts for 4% of readers.
I genuinely thought children's would be higher.
Yeah, children's is just above poetry. I was like, whoa.
I was genuinely shocked by that.
Mystery and crime is second. Fantasy is third. thrillers is kind of in the middle, which
I was kind of
thought
surprised by romance, to be honest with you, because all the statistics that have been thrown at us over the last 5 years about how important the romance genre is, to only for it to be at 11% of overall readers. I was kind of shocked.
And then academic and graphic novels are bringing up the lower end of the mid, and then, like we said, it ends with children's and poetry. Yeah,
young adult is way lower than I thought it would be, too.
Well, keep in mind that they only surveyed 18 and up.
That's true.
That just means adults are not reading young adult.
Not as many. I mean, yeah.
So
but that's probably why graphic novels...
sure if you get a 12 to 17-year-old, that's all they're going to read.
Yeah, because you got graphic novels, young adult, children's, and I feel like when I'm shopping at a bookstore, that's what I see most people buying are children's books and graphic novels. Like Caden buys basically, he does buy some, I guess most of his books would be like science fiction because he buys like Warhammer, Warcraft, like actual chapter stories, but he buys a lot of graphic novels. So, yeah. I was fascinated by this. I thought it was really cool.
And then the last part of it, they're breaking down the consumption of audiobook, ebook, and physical books. Mm-hmm. So if you look at it from the terms of revenue, physical books takes up 54%, ebooks are 21%, and audiobooks are 25%. But if you look at consumption, ebooks is actually bigger at 47%, physical is 36%, audiobook is 17%. So some people are going to be like, well, why is there a difference in revenue versus consumption? And that's because libraries. Also, and then I would also say there's a lot of ebooks that are free. A lot of authors will offer like book 1 and 2 of a series for free. Yeah. To then get people to buy, say, like 2, 3, and 4. So I think that would have to play with it as well. And then, unfortunately, we also have Davy Jones and Jack Sparrows out there. So,
yeah, I don't do it for books, no.
But some people do.
They do. And I have had some people explain to me why they do, like people I know that do. And I understand the reasoning for some specific people. But, like, there's so many avenues, in my opinion, on how you can get them for free without doing that I don't fully understand it.
Yeah. And then the last thing is that it shows a chart of gender versus ebooks and physical books and who consumes those. It's basically males over the age of, I'll say 30-ish. Mm-hmm. They do most of the ebook buying.
My husband does. I will say he reads only on ebook. He's not bought a physical book in probably almost 10 years now.
Goodness.
He's had some bought for him as like a gift, but like he has been strictly a Kindle man for a long time now.
Huh. Okay. But this is it's on a blog called John M. Jennings. I honestly don't know who this person is. Let me pull it up real quick.
Let's see who they are. Who you know?
John M. Jennings is president and chief strategist of Archbridge Family Office, a $15 billion wealth management firm. He is an author and speaker. Then it goes on about his book. And he talks about his blog, so this is part of his blog. He's also an adjunct professor at Washington University's Olin Business School.
There you go.
So he kind of knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he says his firm helps families manage complex affairs, including investments, trusts, taxes, estate plans, cash flows, charitable giving. So that just shows you he can definitely these pie charts and stuff. There, that's his wheelhouse. Like,
yeah,
he may deal with money, but he knows numbers.
Yep. Well, he pulled all the charts from either The Economist or The Washington Post.
However, I need you to scroll down and look at that last picture.
Oh, on the website? Let me see. Scroll. You talking about his author picture here?
There's on that page we were just on, there's 3 pictures of him.
Oh, I only see one.
Are you on the About page?
I mean, it just says meet John M. Jennings there on the... Where's About? Oh, okay. No, I'm not on the About page. Let me go to the About page.
I thought you were on the same place because it read identical to what I was.
Oh, okay. What the?
I'm sorry.
He's a great thinker, y'all.
He's a great, yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Jennings, but
I will describe this. He has his foot propped up on like a little ledge. He's got his elbow on that knee. His hand is in a fist, and he's got his chin like resting on that, but he's like staring off into the distance.
Yeah.
And he's like bent over. I don't know what they were trying to accomplish there.
I think this helps. So he says, personally, I'm a Gen Xer of median height. I am happily married with 2 daughters and a 4-legged best friend. I'm an avid reader, a big fan of coffee, a vegan, a skier, a lover of indie music, I feel you, bro, and a ravenous St. Louis, oh my God, I can't talk, blues fan. I like to challenge myself physically and mentally, and I love to laugh. I'd like to think I'm funny. That he was being funny, okay. But if you ask my wife about it, but he says you'll have to ask his wife about that one.
Yeah, John, that pose is not funny.
I'm now wondering after reading that, though. The only reason I read that is I'm like, oh, he's a funny guy. Like he was not being serious. Oh God. Anyway, that was a great article. I find it. You should drop it in the show notes if you don't mind.
Oh. Yes. Let me pull it back up. Oh, that's the wrong thing.
I have it. Don't worry. I have it if you need me to. But
I got it.
It's very fascinating. I don't do numbers, and I thought it was like really cool because they're, like I said, I just thought some of those genres would be quite a bit higher. Again, you're working with a group of 1,500, like a baseline group. So, I mean, I bet if you went higher or lower, you'd probably get different percentages, but it's interesting to see.
Yeah. Next, we'll have a few adaptations in our adaptation minute.
Mm-hmm.
First, we have the novel The Inheritance by Tricia Saklecha. Sorry if I butchered that. It's getting a TV adaptation by Kunal Nayer's Good Karma. Kunal is from Big Bang Theory.
Mm-hmm.
And he has been he's done a lot since Big Bang Theory. He's just done a lot behind the scenes. He's doing some writing, producing, directing, stuff like that. So he's taking a break from being the main show guy. But I'm excited about this.
Well, that way though, you know.
Let's see. They have acquired the rights to, it's her U.S. novel debut, The Inheritance, to be developed for TV. They have Geeta Vasant Patel, who did Under the Bridge and House of the Dragon, is going to direct.
Mm-hmm.
Nayar, Saklecha, and Patel will executive produce. It was only released this past January, so it's not even that old.
I've noticed this happening more and more, where it's almost like these people go in with their book and say, this would make great television.
Yeah. The Inheritance follows the Agarwal family, who have gathered on a private luxury island off the west coast of Scotland for a much-anticipated family reunion. Raj, the patriarch and a business tycoon, is about to announce his succession plan to his wife and 3 children for his multi-million-dollar Delhi-based company. They've all got secrets they would die to protect.
I mean, I'm into it.
Who will survive this high-stakes reunion, and who will become a victim of their own greed? One thing is sure, this family gathering will shatter more than just their illusions of unity.
Interesting.
This is not just a South Asian story. It is a story that makes all of us question, what would you do? And then it just goes on into everybody's accolades. So that's something to look forward to. I will be interested to see how Kunal handles this. So I'm very into it. Do you want to take the next one, Miranda?
I mean, I can. I have no clue how you're supposed to say her name. Is it Sinlin Yu?
Yeah, I don't know. That's how I would pronounce it.
Okay. Well, apparently, so the book would, okay, let me back up. This book was just released, which is Alchemized by Sinlin Yu, and it is going to be adapted, I can't talk, by Legendary Entertainment. But what's funny is this book itself is actually an adaptation of her fanfic, Manacled, which is fanfic of Harry Potter series. It's supposed to feature a morally fraught romance between Hermione Granger and Draco Malfoy. And then she kind of transformed it into this, like, different. I don't know what she changed, because I know a friend of ours read it when it was Manacled. So I'll have to ask, like, what was changed. I'll have to ask. But yes, so it's being adapted. It's going into a movie as of like 5 days ago, I think, is the last time I saw an update on it.
Yeah, it's going to be done by Legendary, which is part of Paramount.
Mm-hmm. But I'm assuming because it's part of Paramount and Legendary, it'll be a movie.
Yeah, that I don't know.
That it hasn't said, but it's not. The novel was just released September 23rd. So like it literally just came out.
Yeah.
So they've purchased their film rights for a 7-figure deal. So I guess
that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. And I mean,
okay, here's Alchemized.
Okay.
Set in an alternate world of necromancers and corrupt guild families, the story centers on alchemist and healer named Helen Marino, who may hold forgotten secrets in her mind. She is sent to the crumbling estate of one necromancer who is to probe her forgotten memories, and, as the book jacket teases, Helena's fight to protect her lost history and to preserve the last remaining shreds of her former self is just beginning. For her prison and captor have secrets of their own, secrets Helena must unearth whatever the cost.
I just don't know the difference in when it was Manacled. I know things I know she changed a lot of stuff apparently before turning it into Alchemized, and I just don't know. I don't know what, to be very honest with you. I do know it's a Bianca no.
Oh yeah. Because I know for Manacled, she basically merged Harry Potter with Handmaid's Tale and made Hermione Granger a handmaid for Draco. That was the basic premise of Manacled.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know she had to do a lot of things different to get it to Alchemized. I just
wonder why she didn't just write a whole different book, because it kind of sounds like she did. Because I know, and wasn't it when Manacled, there wasn't a name on Manacled, if I remember. Wasn't it one of those books that like nobody
I have
knew?
No idea.
I want to say, listen, I never read Manacled. I was a little intrigued, and then everybody was like, it's dark. And I was like, how dark are we talking? Because Miranda will read a lot of things. I'll read pretty much anything. I'll give pretty much anything a shot. But there's some things that I just, like, if I know going into it what's going to happen, I'm like, no thanks. Which it reminds me, I have a funny story to tell you about London and a bookstore. So I'll tell you that in a minute.
Okay.
it refers to dark books, and it just reminded me. So
okay. The last adaptation we're going to mention is The Bodyguard by Catherine Center is going to become a Netflix original romantic comedy film. It's going to be directed by Elizabeth Allen Rosenbaum, who has done Jenny in Georgia. And this book was published in 2022, so again, not that old.
Mm-mm. Not as fresh as the other two, but like...
Yeah, it's still not bad, though.
No.
But it's going to star... It's going to star Jared Padalecki and Leighton Meester.
Nice.
I was like, I haven't seen Leighton anything in forever.
I haven't either, but I feel like with that casting, that means they're going like probably more age appropriate to the books. Because I know that's some people's argument sometimes is when they do adaptations of some of these novels, they pick like 20-ish somethings and they're not supposed to be in the books.
Yeah. Here's the plot. When straight-laced executive protection agent Hannah Brooks is reeling from a breakup and her mother's death, her Houston-based security firm assigns her an unusual job, guarding Hollywood's most famous heartthrob, Jack Stapleton. Once the world's favorite action star, Jack has retreated to his family's Montana ranch after a scandal, and a tragedy left him wary of the public eye. Jack doesn't want his ailing mother, Sally, to know about a stalker threatening him, so he insists Hannah pose as his girlfriend rather than his bodyguard. Thrust into close quarters, Hannah must juggle her professional instincts with the warmth of Jack's family and the disarming kindness of the man she's meant to protect. As the danger escalates and secrets surface, Hannah must decide whether to keep her heart locked down or risk it all for a man who might be far more than a client.
So to me, what I'm hearing is cowboys, forced proximity, found family, maybe, possibly also small town. I'm thinking.
The location of the plot has been altered for the adaptation. The novel is set in Texas, but they're going to film in Montana.
Well, I wonder, are they going to tell you it's Montana, though?
Nah.
Or are they just going to pretend it's Texas? You know, they do that a lot when they film. They're like in Budapest, but they're telling you it's somewhere else, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Filming is scheduled to begin in Canada this December.
Of course.
And they plan on concluding by January, so only 2 months of filming.
Well, I mean, okay. This sounds like one that would be fun. I'll probably give it a try.
Yeah.
320 pages. That's not ridiculous.
Okay, y'all. And it's time now for the meat of our discussion.
I love when you say that. It always cracks me up. It's my favorite.
So we are in the Burr months now. Miranda's favorite time of year.
Oh my God.
So we decided that we're going to talk about everyone's favorite teenage vampire romance book, Twilight, by Stephenie Meyer.
Everybody can see us.
Have
Actually,
you
put it over your face, and I'll clip this for our TikTok. Okay.
Have you pre-ordered any of the new covers they're coming out with for the anniversary?
Yes. I wanted the Waterstones ones, but I don't know why they did this, but they have some really pretty ones that you can only get at Waterstones, kind of like Barnes & Noble did.
Yeah.
They are only shipping them to people inside the UK.
No!
I know. And they weren't out. They were not out while I was there.
I want the black cover with the flowers. Those are the ones I want.
I have a friend that these are not like special edition ones, but she has the all white set.
Oh yeah.
Those are really pretty too.
Yeah.
I wanted the hang on, I'll pull them up. I wanted the special edition. They're like flowery, and they go in. They have like a book hard sleeve. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wanted that, and it's all like flowers on the outside. Oh, that's the one I wanted.
Because that's the pink and the green one, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the one also, the sprayed edges, if you splay them one way, it's Bella, and if you do them the other way, it's Edward.
Yeah, it's like $30 for one book.
Yeah.
I will say, I also liked the box set that are black, and they have like flowers across the bottom.
That's the ones I want.
$125 though.
Whew. Yeah, but to be fair, like this book, the cover is coming off. I'm trying to show you.
Yeah.
It has seen better days.
This is my second copy, is the only reason why this one looks good. These are the ones I'm actually taking and donating to the library before I leave. Because I already have a full set in America. So the library is not going to get a set. The only thing it doesn't include is Bree Tanner.
And see, I had the unfortunate luck of getting Twilight and New Moon in paperback, and all my other ones are hardcover.
I have a problem like that in the States too. So that same, like I have these two in paperback.
Yeah.
Which again, these were given to me to like, they were like, oh, I know you love these books, so I thought you might want my copies because I'm moving and I don't want them anymore. And I was like, okay. And then same thing, these two are in hardcover. But I'm like, well, I already have these. So I used them for our reread purposes. But because one of our friends was like, Miranda, you're giving away your Twilights to the library. And I was like, no, I was like, these are like a second set. She's like, oh, okay. She's like having a coronary. I was like, I promise it's okay. Yes.
So I was actually late to the Twilight party when they were being published. I didn't start reading them until right before Eclipse came out.
Okay. That was actually one of the questions. You have some questions and I have some questions, and we're just going to overall talk about everything. That was actually what I was going to ask you. I knew that, but for the boys and girls, did you find it when it first came out? Did you find it later? So what drew you to it? Because was it like that the second movie was coming out and you're like, you know what, I'm a reader, I actually want to read these? Like, what was it that actually brought you to them?
So my best friend at the time, well, we were starting to become best friends. She was heavy into Twilight. Okay. And she kept telling me that I needed to read this. And I've never been like a huge vampire person. Like that's just not something I'm naturally drawn to. She was telling me like it was about vampires and stuff. And I was like, I don't know about that. And then she finally came to visit me at my parents' house one time. And just to describe, so my parents live on 5 acres of woods, and you have to turn off the main road, and then you literally go downhill and you wind through the woods to get to my parents' house. And especially if it's raining or it's dark, like it can get kind of spooky. But I grew up there, so I'm used to it. But the first time she came to visit, she was like, you literally are a Cullen. I was like, what are you talking about? She was like, this is just like in the book. Like, you are a vampire. And I was like, girl, you need to calm down.
You're like, okay, a little much. Like, how old were you guys at the time?
I was 14, 15-ish.
Oh, yeah.
She would have been closer to 18.
She was old enough to drive out. Took him out.
Yeah. But she finally convinced me, and I fell in love and never looked back. So that's the story of how Bianca got into it. Because they released the first book after the third. I mean, they released the first movie after the third book came out, I do believe.
I think so.
So yeah, I got into it right around the time Eclipse was coming out.
Yeah. So I don't want for check. It does this to me all the time when I'm trying to Google something. It tells me like the release date in Czech Republic. And I'm like, no, I want to know when this movie came out in America. Can you do that for me? Can you find out? It keeps telling me in Czech.
Twilight movie.
No offense, Czechia.
2008.
2008. But it wasn't the same. Was it November? I guess it doesn't matter.
It was in fall.
Okay. So it was only like 3 years after the book.
Yeah. The book was 2005.
Yes. So I didn't initially find the book in 2005, even though I was a big reader and I loved everything vampires. My sister-in-law, who's a little bit older than me, actually found it before I did. And she came to visit us in Alabama. We hadn't been in Alabama very long at all. And she brings me this, like, she comes down with this, like, tattered, this is how many times that she's read it. So it's only been like a year and a half since this book has come out, maybe, at most. Like, the movie was not out yet, like, at all. So this is probably 2007. And she comes with this, like, tattered, like, you can tell it's been loved copy of Twilight. And she's like, what do you mean you've never read this? You love vampires. Like, you've devoured every vampire book. And I was like, I don't know how. I mean, maybe it was the fact that, I don't know. Honestly, I lived at the bookstore in 2005, 2006 because I was pregnant and then new mom. And so reading, I did a lot of that. And she's like, how did you not know? I was like, I don't know. So she's like, well, I'm not giving you my copy. And I was like, clearly it'll fall apart on me. So she and I went to the bookstore while we were down there. And I want to say at that point, I had 1 and 2 were both already out probably. So my introduction was also, you would think it would be initially in 2005. It was pretty quick after that, but like, it wasn't like right in 2005. Well, yeah. At least I don't remember reading them. I went through a lot of books during that time period, but couldn't tell you anything about them. Couldn't tell you.
That reminds me, Sabrina and I were comparing read lists yesterday, and she had one called Vampire Kisses, and it said you had also read that one, and I meant to ask you about that. The entire series.
That is by Ellen Schreiber. She and I are actually friends on Facebook. I've read the entire series. It is YA. I'm trying to remember how many books are in it now. It was adorable. I loved it. It's one of those, like, she lives in this really small town. It's been dubbed like Dullsville. She's 16. Her name's Raven. And she is like, the idea of vampires, she loves. She's like this goth girl. She's an outcast. But then there's this mansion in their house that's always been vacant. It's always had funny rumors about it. You know, the kids have always said things. And then people move into it and they like start fixing it up. And they're like, who are these people? And their son is particularly handsome, and his name is Alexander Sterling.
Alexander.
Alexander, yes. And so she kind of like obviously falls in love, and yeah, it's kind of spooky, and it is YA. It was cute. It was cute. I don't remember how many pages. They're all pretty thin. I found those at the library in Enterprise. These are older. They're from like the first ones were like 2003, but I didn't find them until later. But yeah, nice series. Thank you for mentioning it. I love it so much.
Yes, from 2003.
Yeah, I didn't find it till later. There's 9 books in the series.
I may have to look that up.
It's fun.
Okay. But so we're not going to do a deep dive on Twilight just because if you haven't read it by now, just stop this episode, go read it, and come back, okay?
Well, that too. But I also, as I told Bianca, I feel like if people haven't read it by now and they're over a certain age, they're not going to.
Yeah, no.
Although I will ask real quick, did you read The Life and Death?
Of Bree Tanner?
No. It's called Life and Death. It's like the flip side book one. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like Twilight Reimagined.
I guess not.
Okay, yeah.
Is that the gender swap one?
Yeah, where it's Bo Swan
no,
and
I didn't
Edith
read that
Cullen.
one. Yeah. I
have not. I found a copy the other day where it's Twilight, like you literally flip the book. You've seen those where it's 2 books. Yeah. And so it was Twilight on one half and Life and Death on the other half. And I was like, do I get it? No. I didn't. I think I'll
completely forgot that existed until now.
Yeah. I have the list of like the books up. And that one popped up and I was like, wait, because I have read Midnight Sun, which I'm sure we'll talk about. Yeah. So like I guess real quick, the books in order are, of course, Twilight. Then you have New Moon. Then you have Eclipse. Mm-hmm. And then, if I remember, does Short Life fit in there or after Breaking Dawn?
No, Short Life fits in between New Moon and Eclipse, I do believe, if I remember correctly.
But it came out much later, but it fits in.
It's technically the last published one.
Yeah. Let's do this. Twilight books in order to read. There we go. That's what I wanted to show me. So Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, Breaking Dawn, of course. Let's see. So I have read The Short Life of Bree Tanner. And I have read Midnight Sun, which is the retelling from Edward's point of view.
Yes.
And then, of course, as we just mentioned, that Life and Death, Twilight Reimagined, which actually came out way before she finally released Midnight Sun.
Yeah.
Midnight Sun was supposed to have come out in 2009.
She withheld it.
Because of somebody that was like a beta reader. I don't know if you remember. Yeah. They were like a beta reader, I don't know. Sorry. But they were either a beta reader or they got an ARC copy, which is not the same thing as a beta reader. I don't remember, but they got a hold of it and they leaked like the first chapter, not even the full first chapter. It was like only the first 3 pages. And I remember all of us, I don't know about you, but all of us were on the internet like, yeah, we're reading it. And it made her so angry. She was like, you don't get it now. Yeah. And all of us were like, what? You may be mad at that person for leaking it, but we need it. We need it.
She finally published it after 10 years.
I mean,
it took her 10 years to do it, but
we finally got it. Technically, if it's Twilight retelling from Edward's
yeah, that's
point.
True. Yeah.
Twilight came out in 2005, and this didn't come out to 2020. She was holding out for a real. She said petty.
Which she recently did a panel. I forget where. She was at some book festival.
Mm-hmm.
But she's blonde now.
Yeah, no, you sent it to me and you were like, what? What?
And I wasn't mad at it. She looked good, but I was just like, oh, the blonde hair about took me out.
It did. It caught me off guard. Okay, so that's all of the books in the Twilight saga / universe. Which one is your favorite? Before we really get into it, Eclipse is your favorite. Eclipse, and what made it your favorite?
I feel like in that one, Bella finally makes decisions for herself. Mm-hmm. It's not based on what her mom's doing. It's not based on what Charlie wants. It's not based on what Edward wants. It's what she truly wants. So I feel like she has a full coming of age moment, and that's where we kind of transfer from YA to more adult content.
Right.
And at the time, I was 18, 19 years old whenever I read that one.
Yeah.
So it fit me.
It makes sense.
It's just always stuck with me.
Deciding who you are. You're making decisions for yourself, finally.
Yeah.
Not that teenagers don't make decisions for themselves, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. What about you? What's your favorite?
So I would like to think that the original is, because it's what sucked me in, right?
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are going to argue with me on that, and that's okay. But it's actually New Moon, the book. Not the movie, the book. Because I feel like in the book, there's a lot of things that take place in the movie that in the movie you have no context.
Yeah.
I've said this to you. You and I talked about this and not debated it because we've agreed from everything I remember. But I got so angry after the New Moon movie came out, and people were like, "I don't like Bella. She's so whiny, and what kind of tantrum was that?" And in the book, it explains in detail her inner monologue of why she's so upset and exactly listen, it's a little attachment. We got some attachment issues for sure. I'm not denying that. But the book explains it, and I really like how she explained things in the book.
Yeah. And she deals with tough topics like depression and suicide. Yeah.
Which are things that unfortunately teenagers do. I mean, adults as well, but as a teenager, depending on what you're going through, I mean, when you really think about it, her and Charlie don't fully understand each other. She's not really grown up with Charlie. She's grown up with her mom, and she kind of feels like her mom doesn't want her, because why else is she just going to live with Charlie? There's a lot that she's actually going through that I think people kind of forget about, because all they see is Kristen Stewart and go, ew, she's throwing a tantrum.
Yeah.
I genuinely think most people now, when they read these books, especially people that watch the movies first, they can only see the characters from on screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's understandable.
Yeah. It is, because I don't think I could read this book without seeing, to me, there is no other Edward and Jacob.
Yeah.
There's just not. There's just not.
I will say the casting for the movies, they were pretty spot on.
I enjoyed it very, very much, actually.
I really had no complaints.
No. I think you could say that this kind of in the mid 2000s was something that sort of took over. It was a huge cultural impact.
Oh yeah. This was also the renaissance of vampire fiction.
I believe so, because as someone who grew up on it and then it kind of dropped off.
Yeah. This definitely
kind of
revived it.
Yeah. Because not long after these movies, you started getting, that's when Vampire Diaries, for example, that I grew up on and had loved. Then they got this resurgence, and they were republished and rebound in different covers, and the show came out. And
that's also when True Blood became really big.
True Blood, which again was another one that had already been out for a while. A lot of us had already been reading it, and it was now we're going to make you the show. And
then there's that cozy mystery series. Crap. Who wrote it? I can see the covers in my head.
Is it one I read?
I think so. Mystery books, vampires. Maybe I'm thinking of True Blood. No, because that's not cozy.
Not cozy.
I want to say it was in the cozy section.
Well, I mean, is it one?
Oh, Charlene Harris.
Oh yeah, she's True Blood.
Is it
True Blood? Yeah, she's True Blood.
Okay. Just kidding then.
Which, I mean, there's some coziness to them, but I mean, there's there's a lot of Bianca no in True Bloods.
Does she have another series? Because
Charlene actually has several series. She does have a cozy mystery series, but it does not have vampires in it. She has one of my favorite ones that they turned this show into, the Aurora Tea Garden series. It's a cozy mystery, and it's got Candace Cameron Bure. Well, they're not doing it anymore because the deal was with Hallmark. But yeah, she does have that cozy and another cozy. She does have cozy sets. I can try to remember the name of the other one. But wait, are you talking about Midnight Texas that she has? It's not cozy, but she has another that has vampires. It's called Midnight Texas, which was also a TV
Texas show. Books. Let me see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I recognize it. Yeah, that's those covers.
Are Charlene's as well. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. But anyways, so I feel like in this time period, you had to do something different with vampires. And she definitely did.
Oh, she absolutely did. Like it's all the jokes now, like sparkly vampires. And I know a lot of people hate it. I'm a vampire traditionalist myself, but to be honest with you, I really appreciate this because it's different.
Well, and I like this is kind of leading into the first question that I have is, why do you think the Twilight series is so popular? I think because it is so different. These vampires are very humanized. They recognize humans as beings and not just meals. They're not just blood bags. They're not something to hunt or to lord over. Like, they are human. And I think that is what changed the landscape for a lot of people, was that they were very much trying to still exist in the world and be nice.
They were. I mean, because he didn't immediately, I mean, he was struggling with Bella's scent, obviously, but he wasn't. In a lot of the other vampire books, they're like, you know, I know the joke with Twilight that you and I, like, we share every TikTok there is out there with each other, where it's like, do you know what I am? But in other books, it's done more of a very, like, in a very demonic, like, you know, I could just eat you, right? Like, you know, I could just kill you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a power play. And here, I never fully felt that. And somebody may argue with me, and that's okay. But, like, I never fully felt that.
You don't get that power play from the Cullens, no. You do from other vampires in that universe, but...
Right, but I mean, like, specifically, usually when there's a love romantic relationship like this, there's usually some sort of, like, power play pool that, like, gets figured out later, or it doesn't. But, you know, you don't feel that from them. They're just trying to be a normal family. They're doing a great job of still sticking out, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially with the joke of, like, they all date each other. You should probably clarify that a little bit more, Cullen family. Like, if you're, you know, they're all adopted and they date each other. It is weird. I mean, come on.
Well, we've discussed our favorite books in the series. Do you have a favorite character?
I do. I really love Alice, and I wish she had her own, like, I know they tell you the backstory of some of the side characters, and I know Bella and Edward and Jacob are supposed to be your main characters, and Alice, Charlie, and all the rest of them are supporting characters, but I do really love her, and I wish she had, like, her own little, like, storyline that you could follow, like a spinoff.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
She's so interesting.
She really is. And honestly, I mean, how can you not love Charlie?
So I think Charlie's my favorite character, honestly.
When I was reading them, Charlie and even the actor reminded me so much of my dad. Like, that I adore Charlie. Like, you just can't help it.
Because poor Charlie, like, by the end of by Breaking Dawn, like, he knows something is different.
Yes. I think he's always suspected something was different, but not this. He probably didn't believe it was something like that. I mean, how could he not? He grew up with, you know, Jacob's, like, he's super close with Jacob's family. He has to know there are things that are different. Maybe he's just always ignored them. You know, those people that are like, I didn't see it. Nope. You know? Yeah.
But he's struggling, like, the whole time. He just wants to be a good dad. Like
He does.
that's his whole character arc is I just want to be there for my daughter. And sometimes the daughter doesn't let him. But I love Charlie.
I do love
Charlie. He's just a softie.
Yeah. And I will briefly mention, so the books were heavily influenced by some of Meyer's favorite bands, who happen to be two of mine. And I remember she used to put out these lists. I don't know, is it in there? Do you remember when she used to add the list?
The playlist.
The playlist.
I actually don't know if it's still here.
There's one of the books it is in. It may not be Twilight, but I'm not seeing it in this one.
Yeah, it's not in this copy.
So, two of my favorite bands of all time are My Chemical Romance and Muse. And they were her muses for writing. And she talked about how she listened to them a whole lot. And I also loved that because I really didn't know too many other people that even knew who Muse was at the time. I'm looking for it. I know it exists in one of these. There's one of these books that she puts it, I think, in the front.
But that's another thing is Miranda's not lying. She did publish lists at one point.
She did.
But
they made it on her blog, which it was still, blogs were still huge, boys and girls.
Yeah. But the soundtracks for those movies are
chef's kiss.
Peak. That is peak soundtrack cinema, guys.
They are still perfection. I have them in.
I still listen to them.
I have them on my Spotify in like actual, like playlists. But then I also have them on vinyl. Yeah.
Which this is just a little side note. So Paramore did the one song, and it got super popular because, as it should, it was a good song.
Oh, and I loved Paramore too at the time. So I was like, yes!
That was Decode.
Yes.
And so Paramore opened for Taylor on the Eras tour for a good bit. And for one of the London shows, she also had Suki there, who Suki wasn't married yet to Rob, but they were together and they had just had a baby. And the whole tour, Paramore had not played Decode. Even though the fans were like, play Decode, she was like, no. She just, over the years, she has tried to distance herself from Twilight because she doesn't want that to be her legacy. Haley
Williams.
A lot
of them have, and I'm not even sure why. Because like My Chemical Romance did, Muse did, obviously, your husband, not her real husband, her pretend husband, have all kind of removed themselves.
But the one of the London shows, just because Suki and Rob were there, she was like, this goes out to Mr. Robert Pattinson. And they finally played Decode.
So I can't find the lists anymore. There's a couple of them available on Stephenie Meyer's website. And then there's some of them that are not available anymore. However, I have found a wiki, like a Twilight Saga fandom wiki, that someone has compiled the lists. So you can find it. And this is like her playlist for writing. So it's not just Muse and My Chemical Romance, but there is a lot of that. It's very Miranda vibes, what Stephenie Meyer listens to. But yeah.
I even tried to go back to the Wayback Machine to see if it would pull anything.
Well, I found, hang on, I'll send you this.
And I don't think it is.
There.
What is this taking me to? Sorry if this blows up your computer, Brad.
Oh, God.
Nope, that doesn't take me to anything. Okay, so that didn't work.
Well, I just sent you the list of the fandom. But, yeah, apparently on her website, which is still up, Stephenie Meyer's website, she has
playlists
on there. Yeah. Movies. Which, isn't she supposed to be writing a new book? Didn't we talk about this recently?
She has teased a new book. I still say if she does not give me a sequel to
The Chemist. I want more from the book she wrote, The Chemist.
No, I want the alien one.
The Host? I'd take that too.
The Host was so freaking good.
Did you read The Chemist?
I don't think I did.
It's more, it's I wouldn't call it YA. It's adult.
I don't think I read The Chemist.
She used to work for the U.S. government, but very few people like knew that she did, kind of thing. She was an expert in her field. It says she was one of the darkest secrets of an agency so clandestine it didn't even have a name. And then they decided she was a liability, and they came for her without warning. I
like how on the cover of The Chemist, it says The Chemist by Stephenie Meyer, best-selling author of The Host.
The Host. Yeah.
Not Twilight.
Nope.
The Host.
Which The Host was really good. It was long.
It was long, but it was so good, and the movie did not do it justice. I was so mad at the movie.
I didn't enjoy the movie. The movie was like okay if you separated it from the book. Like if you remove the two of them, like
that's another one where it came out just before streaming got super big. I think if they would have waited for streaming to become what it was, we would have gotten a series, and it would have been so much better.
Like if it had been like a Netflix exclusive or Amazon or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Stephenie Meyer's playlists are still available. I'm not sure how I'm trying to get to them. It's not easy. I'm having to actually Google Stephenie Meyer writing playlist when writing is what I'm having to Yeah.
Well, I'm just looking over some questions that you and I both have for each other.
Yeah. Go for it.
So I'm just going to lead with this. Stephenie has always said that the very first scene that she ever envisioned from Twilight was the meadow scene, and she kind of shaped the book around the meadow scene. What is your favorite scene in Twilight?
Oh, in the first Twilight book. Oh,
yeah.
The meadow scene
she's flipping through the book, y'all.
I am flipping through the book. I'm like, I actually like when she goes shopping.
Oh, okay, yeah. With the girls over in
crazy.
Port Angeles.
Yeah, and she goes with the girls and they go shopping, and she's just, for once, she's being a normal teenager. She's happy. Because, she talks pretty early on about kind of being depressed and, how this place is gloomy and, so I really like that it's she's getting to be a teenager, essentially.
Okay.
She doesn't have two boys, well, she kind of does. She doesn't know one's present. But, but, she's just being herself, Yeah.
Okay. Mine would be just after that, when Edward comes and picks her up, and they really start to have their first heart-to-heart conversation, and he's just being very open with her. I love that whole sequence.
No,
it's very eye-opening because if Twilight is told from Bella's point of view, we really don't get a lot from Edward. And this is the first time where we actually get explanations for a lot of things, and his answers make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of fits puzzle pieces together.
He's had a long time to figure out the meaning of life and stuff,
Not too long. He's only 100 and something.
I
was fully expecting, when I first read this, I was fully expecting him to be hundreds of years old. Not 117.
Because I think that happens a lot where they're 400. No, he's 104.
That's another thing that makes Twilight different than a lot of other vampire literature is that all of them beside Carlisle are new.
Mm-hmm. Well, new, yeah. According in vampire world, 100, you're still a baby.
Yeah. Edward's actually the most senior out of the whole clan besides Carlisle.
Let's see, how old is Carlisle supposed to be?
He was born in the 1600s, I believe.
So he's 365.
Yeah.
Because he was 23. His perpetual age is 23. He was born in 1640.
Because there's a whole... I do like that in Twilight, the book, we get a whole chapter of Carlisle going through his history.
I
Granted,
would
we
like
get
to know about. I would like a whole like book of Carlisle from the time he was turned to like up till he meets like the first one.
yeah.
Whoever his first person he turned is, or whatever.
Let's see. I'm trying to. If you're looking in the book, it's somewhere around page 335 ish. Yeah, 334, chapter 16. It's where they go in Carlisle's office and basically get a rundown of everything.
I feel like there's just really so many iconic scenes in this book.
Well, and that leads me to this next question. What do you think of Carlisle's decision to, quote, save people by making them vampires? Should he have let them die? Blah, blah, blah. If you were dying, would you want to be made into a vampire? I think for me, it would depend on what I was dying of.
Well, I mean, but you would be healed either way.
Yeah. Which one thing that's never really discussed in the Twilight universe is age. So, like, what if you're like 90 years old and you become a vampire?
Well, he says he only turns people that he finds like in dire circumstances. I believe it's always been without their consent. He doesn't full on ask them, right?
No, he just turns them.
Yeah, he just turns them. But I mean, you think of when we know the backstories of like Edward and Rosalie, and you understand why he made that decision. But I do wish he would be like, hey, I can take this away, but your whole life is going to change, and let that person. The other thing is like, some people are dying of things that like they can't answer, right? They're in like fever dreams. They're like, they're not there. Like, I think Edward was like really sick. Like he
was in like a pneumonia ward or something, or Spanish flu. Was it Spanish flu? He was in Chicago.
Carlisle was the one that was dying of Spanish flu.
Oh, was it? Okay.
But anyway, like I think if he gave people the choice, so I would want to be given the choice first, is what I will say.
Okay.
Second, would I do it? I want to say yes, right? Because obviously I've been infatuated with vampires from a very young age. However, there are vampire stories where they talk about, like there's a series that I've read where he talks about how he will never marry again. He will never take, this one guy will never take another lover, or he only takes, like, this sounds really gross, but like he only takes women that they also only want like a one, like they don't want anything serious. Because he says falling in love and watching the people that you love die over and over and over again while you keep existing is extremely hard. And I was like, damn, that's making me rethink my whole vampire thought process.
Okay, well, let me change up the question a little bit.
Okay.
If you did choose to become a vampire, which universe of vampire would you choose?
Oh, man.
Because, like, we have Twilight, we have Vampire Diaries, we have Dracula, we have Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah.
We have True Blood.
Oh. Well, I think when you look at the outcome of the vampires in each of those. Sorry. When you look at the outcomes of the vampires in each of those, I definitely don't think I want to be Dracula. And Interview with a Vampire, people seem to, I mean, that one works. They all have horrible possibilities, though.
Yeah.
This is hard.
That is true.
I mean, in Vampire Diaries, people constantly be in, like, put a stake in me, pretend I'm dead, I'm not going to sleep for 15 years, you know? I think I kind of like that, though. Other than you're extremely vulnerable, you remember from the show, like when you're like, I can't handle this. I'm in a rage or a depression. So, hey, can you put me away? But then like you're in this like sleep stasis essentially, but like you're super vulnerable during that time. This is tough.
And see, for me, I think I would also choose Vampire Diaries, but because in that universe, they can make those daylight rings.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think I'm going Vampire Diaries because the daylight ring, number one. Number two,
I can't go without sunlight, y'all.
I mean, listen, I joke all the time. My husband's like, why don't you just, if you turned on a light, I'm like, big light. So I'm like, I'm like, you remember you've married a vamp? Like, I cannot do any sort of sun or bright light without sunglasses. I genuinely haven't. My eyes don't do it.
Yeah.
But I think I don't want to be limited to never being in the sunlight. Especially when you think about it, there's sometimes where the sun don't go down until like 9 o'clock at night. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like,
and like I guess you can technically go outside in the Twilight universe, but everyone's going to be looking at you, being like,
"Why is she sparkling?"
So I think it would just be easier.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Okay, so if I had to if I said yes to being a vamp, I think I would want to be a vamp in the Vampire Diaries / Originals world.
Yeah.
I think it brings the most protection, especially because a lot of them do become friends with each other, like with the werewolves and the other creatures and the witches. So I think if you built you a good little like community of the three. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm going Vampire Diaries. I'm going to say yes to being turned. I'm going Vampire Diaries because also in Vampire Diaries universe, families usually get turned together.
Yeah.
So that means Caden and Jerry, if they want, so they should, if they want. I say that with my face. She sees my face where I'm like, I'm not saying I would force them, but like the chance of my family also just turning with me and we being like this whole legacy thing would be great. Just saying.
And then my last question is, why do you think Twilight has remained so popular? Like, what sets it apart? What keeps it in the pop culture world?
I'm going to say the fact that it came out when it did.
Okay.
You grabbed. I think there's a lot of readers in our age range, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like you said earlier, it kind of revitalized the whole supernatural, not just romance supernatural genre, but the supernatural genre in general. I think it also can be controversial at times, and people like to talk about, and, sometimes they say no publicity is bad publicity, right? I mean, I don't think that applies all the time, but I think the music, like you talked about from the movies, because I think you can't say, why is it so popular and not talk about the movies, right?
Yeah, no. It honestly would not be popular today. I don't think it would still be a thing today if the movies hadn't happened.
I will agree with you 100% on that. I think if they had never done any adaptations of it, you'd have a group of us that were like, those were fantastic. It's same with Vampire Diaries, right? And I may have to make you do that one time where you just read like the first one. They're really thin.
Yeah,
you've watched the movie. I mean, you've watched.
I've read the first book.
Okay, yeah, they're the first two are really thin. But I think it's the same with that. Because no one, I mean, I grew up reading Vampire Diaries, right? And no one really knew anything. A lot of people, at least, didn't know anything about them until like the TV show came out.
Yeah.
And so I will give you, it's kind of the same concept for here is if the movies had never happened, I think you would have that group of us, kind of like the Vampire Diaries group, girls and guys, but like people that had read the books that were always like trying to convince everyone else to, and they were like, and then they got the TV show. So same here. If the movies had never happened, I don't think the impact would have been as strong. I also think fantasy at the time was just so.
Yeah.
Say that?
Fantasy was not a poppin' genre in the.
No, I mean it was amongst
in the 2000s.
The mega nerds. I mean, we were getting Lord of the Rings and like Harry Potter and stuff.
Well, that also brings in the conversation of high fantasy versus low fantasy.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying like fantasy in general. Like it kind of was like if you weren't a Harry Potter or a Lord of the Rings fan, what fantasy was there for you?
Yeah.
Now we got like so much of it, and I I don't hate that, but like, there's not a lack of fantasy. And I do think there was a desire for it at the time. And it kind of brought that back in. The average girl trope, I also think, was appealing. She is just like this common everyday girl, and he's this like otherworldly thing, you know?
Yeah.
I do think the fandom has kept it going as well. It's kind of like fostered this. I mean, you think about it, online communities were really starting to become a thing. We were starting to shift from like MySpace to Facebook at the time. Mm-hmm. Online communities were becoming really big. I think so people were starting to share like fan art and fan fiction on, you know, Tumblr and like all the different fan fiction writing apps that my brain just went dead on. You know what I'm talking about.
AO3.
Yeah. And I think because you have all of these things coming up together, it just really kept where there was like a sustained interest, right? Yeah. Kind of providing this like creative outlet for the fans to like keep going. I mean, look, this spurned another very popular series. I mean, we ended up getting, you know, the 50 Shades series from this. So I think there's a lot of factors that go into like why it's so popular, but I think it also has to do with the group that grabbed it, basically, right? Like the elder to like mid millennials, right? I don't even know if it was like the young millennials. I think it'd be like the elders and mids. Yeah. They kind of, you know, there was, and listen, it was a recession during that time. We all needed something. I'm not gonna lie. Like, we were all kind of like, oh, what are we gonna do with our lives? And I know for me, the reason I got into it is I was a really young mom. Well, not really young. I wasn't a teen. I wasn't a teenager. People are going to hear that and be like, was she a teen mom? No, I was 21 when I had my son. Okay. But I was 21 when I had my son, and we moved to Alabama shortly after that. So I moved away from everything I had ever known, because up until now I had moved away from home, but I only lived like an hour away from where I grew up. Yeah. Right. So, at this point, so we moved down to, you know, the base in Alabama, and I didn't know anyone, and it was hot, and it was not what I thought Alabama was going to be. And I had a son that was like dealing with ear infections, and I was just like, I had Twilight. You know? I did. And I think when you can tie it to something so like emotionally deep, right? When you can connect it to a time in your life, like for you, you said you were there in the one book, you were turning 18. She was also, you know, aging or not aging, but like she was also becoming an adult and making choices of her own. Like, I think when you can tie something like this to a profound moment, it also kind of just sticks with you. And then you're like, oh, and then you go to your friends, have you read this? Have you read this? Have you read this? Yeah. And you become like the pusher, you know.
And here we are 20 years later, and it's a comfort read for me.
Yes, 20 years later. I even have a version. So there is this guy on YouTube. I cannot remember his name. I'll look it up in a second. And he reads stories in this, like, he has this very like calm and flowy voice. Like, I can't do it because I'm not a dude, but he drops it down, and he's very calm, and he has rain sounds in the background. And one of the books that he reads, he broke it up into multiple movies. I think it's broken up into 4 parts. He reads Twilight to you.
Oh, goodness.
And I don't mean it in like that. Some people are like, oh, no, it's calming. It's soothing. It's comforting. It's not that kind of thing. It's like just the way he reads it. And he actually is kind of monotone, which I usually can't handle, but it's like to go to bed. So I don't know how many times I've actually read/listened to this book, because I've done it that way many times. I did Outlander that way. There's a woman that does one as well, and she's doing Outlander chapter by chapter. And so that's how I ended up actually liking the Outlander book after I told you. I almost full on DNF'd it the first time. So, I mean, I'm with you. Who knew that picking up this book when my sister-in-law brought me that tattered copy that, again, was only like a year old when she brought it to me, was going to be this.
So impactful.
Right. And not just on us. Like,
yeah, no. On a whole generation.
Yeah. And like I was telling you before we started recording, because we were making the joke about like, if you haven't read it by now, like, we're not going to go into a deep dive because, like, do you really need us to deep dive it? But at the same time, I was telling you, my mom has, like, her work daughter, and she is 23. And she was talking about how she's like, you know what? I should actually read those. And I was like, yes, you should. She's a big reader. And so I was like,
but the impact it also had on Forks, Washington, the city.
Oh,
like
100%.
if you type in Forks, Washington on Google, like one of the tabs, the first tab is Twilight. So you can
trip sometime. You know,
you can click on it. You can plan your visit. It tells you where all to go. There's even a shop.
Oh, she's ignoring it, but we're doing it.
Oh, I'm not contesting that. I'm just trying to get through this segment.
I am too, but yeah. So honestly, I think there's a lot. I can keep going further, but I won't. But I think honestly, there's a lot of reasons from, you know, the thematic impact, the nostalgia, just so many different things is why it continues to be popular and why it has an impact 20 years later.
The blue tint will haunt me forever.
The blue tint.
Forks is blue. You don't know that?
I know. There's this, you can do that on some of the different, like photo apps.
Yeah.
It's called Forks, I think. And it just tinges your photos where you can be like, what?
I do like that you can just automatically tell which movie you're watching just by the tint of the movie.
Oh yeah. Immediately.
Because Twilight is blue. New Moon is like orange.
Yeah.
Eclipse is, I would say it's like more, I don't know, more red maybe. Like it's got it's got a red hue to it.
Yeah.
And then Breaking Dawn, that's kind of normal. They got rid of the tints for that one.
This is true. But it was part 1 and part 2. So like,
yeah,
you had a lot going on there.
Yeah. Did you have anything else you want to mention about Twilight?
I think we'd be remiss if we didn't. Everybody already knows our pick, but I will say the huge thing, if you remember, it was merch, like arguments, all kinds of stuff, was Team Edward versus Team Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I both have always been Team Edward for different reasons.
Yes.
I was Team Edward because I was thinking, as I was reading these, I was like, Jacob sounds adorable and all, but I am an adult, and it just felt really gross to be Team Jacob. Like, it did. It felt really gross to be like 20-something years old and being like, I'm Team Jacob! Especially considering what my job was at the time during a lot of this, you know. I worked for a police department, so I was like, but listen, yeah, but also Edward, just for a multitude of reasons. I usually tend to pick a vampire over a werewolf. Like, no offense, I've read some great werewolf books, and I've loved the werewolf, but like, I do.
Yeah, it's not my vibe.
Well, I mean, then you see Joe Manganiello in yeah, you see him in True Blood, and you're like, maybe I am into werewolves.
He is a pretty man.
He is a beautiful man.
Yeah.
And he's a D&D fan. I mean, what more could you want?
Yeah.
I mean, my husband, that's what I want. I want my husband. I'll ask you really quick, because obviously we've talked about how much we reread these books, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how much of an impact and impression that they've made. So I'm not going to necessarily ask you, like, what was your first impression or anything, but I want to know how it's changed for you over time, because clearly being 14, 15 and starting these books, and same for me, like I was only like 22, 23. We were both young compared to what we are now. Yeah. How have they changed and shifted with you? Like, how has your thought, like maybe back in the day you loved a part, now you don't, and you don't have to like go in detail, but how has this changed for you? How has it like gone with you over the years?
I would say that it's changed as like an adventure / romance series to being a comfort series.
Okay.
Like I can just literally, because I reread this for our discussion today.
Yeah.
But I can literally just sit down and I don't have to think a whole lot about it anymore, just because I've read it so many times.
Right.
I've watched the movie so many times that it's just, it's just part of me now.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand that.
If literally for the past 5 years at least, I have read it at least once a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then prior to that, who knows how many times I've reread it.
Right.
But if I just don't know what to read, I go back to Twilight.
Instead of going into like a reading slump and not reading, you're like, I'll just do this again.
And it always boosts me back up. It's so comforting.
Makes sense.
Yeah. What about you?
I do feel like there have been parts that have changed, like parts that hit me then versus like the times I've reread it. There's been parts that have hit me different throughout time. For example, like when I read, a lot of people don't talk about it, and I know I've like mentioned it several times already, but like the short Second Life of Bree Tanner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but that book hit me so extremely hard, and I've always really loved it.
It's very tragic.
It is very tragic. And it came out in 2010. So, yeah. So this was around the time that we were like Caden. We had been dealing with Caden's like diagnosis, or if he was getting one, if he wasn't getting one. Like it had been going on since he was about 2. So it wasn't like I suddenly found out during this time. So like that's the other thing for these books is they got me through a lot of like finding his, getting his diagnosis and like dealing with his horrific ear infections and things like that. But this one came out around, he would have been turning 4 shortly after this one came out, like just a few weeks after this book came out. And we had only had his diagnosis official at this point for maybe 6 months. And for some reason, because I've told and I've said this here before, I'm a crier, like normal in life. Like that's how I get my anger out. That's how I get, like when I'm happy, I don't cry in books.
Yeah.
And this is one that when I read it, like I just held 3-year-old Caden and I cried. Like I just cried. And it doesn't make me do that as much anymore, but I read it and I feel this sense of like, I don't know. That's the only one that hasn't changed for me though. Like I feel a huge sense of comfort with that book because it really got me through. And it's not a long book. It's a novella.
No, it's very short. Yeah.
That explains a character that you don't get hardly any of in the movies or anything. Like it's very, very quick. But I feel like they've hit me. That's the one that has stayed the same, but there's other parts that have hit me different that like, maybe I really loved it before. And now that I'm a little bit older, I see it. Maybe I'm not being cynical, but like, I go, okay, grow up. You know what I'm saying? Like, but overall, I feel like they do kind of withstand the test of time. In the same breath, I would say, while I find some things have changed for me, I do feel like it withstands the test of time. And
I think if you're going to write a vampire story, it has to do that because vampires have always existed.
And they've been overdone. And so, and as a vampire fan, I'm saying they have been overdone. And I think, like you said earlier, she had to make it different, and she did.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people that give it shit and hate on it for that. And are like, why can't you just stick with traditional vampires? Well, can you give me the statistics of traditional vampire books that were selling at the time?
Yeah.
Because you probably can't.
Because you had people like me who we're not really into vampires. This made them totally different and made them more accessible.
And you had people like me who were very into them. But I was also extremely, because there was another series I was reading at the same time that has a whole bunch. It's one of my favorite series, but it has a whole bunch of different, creatures. It's got fae, it's got vampires, it's got werewolves, it's got humans. That I was reading at the same time. And so clearly I was still reading vampire stuff, but for some reason having one that was just so different was very like intriguing to me. And then I ended up, falling in love with the world essentially too, because it's a lot of the secondary characters like we talked about, when we first started talking about this, like the secondary characters really deserve a lot more attention sometimes.
Yeah. No, because it really got me into vampires, so much so that when I was in college, I took a whole vampire lit class.
I know, I'm very jealous.
And we didn't even read Twilight.
I think probably you didn't read it because it was newer. They probably covered, because I think you've given me the list once before of what you covered.
Yes, we read Dracula and
As you should.
Oh crap! What's the other bit? Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah.
Did we read Carmilla? I want to say we read Carmilla.
A lot of people do. I think you did, because I want to feel like we talked about this and you were like, oh.
It sounds familiar. And then we read one other one, because we had 4 or 5 books in there. I don't remember what they are now, but yeah, like it opened up a new world for me. It made me curious. Let me see if I saved it to these docs.
Do you feel like you have enjoyed any other vampires as much since? Like, I know you watched Vampire Diaries, the show, and you did read the first book, but do you feel like you've been more inclined to be interested in vampires since then? Or do you feel like it's just still kind of only Twilight that is your thing?
It has made me more receptive. I'll put it that way. I don't think I've really consumed any more vampire media.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I see something's vampire, I'm just like, oh, let me see what it's about. And if it's just a typical vampire thing, I'm like, no, it's not for me.
Makes sense. There's a lot.
Well, and there's vampire lore from all over the world too.
There is.
So I would be more interested in reading about it from that perspective. Like, give me some South American vampires, give me Asian vampires, because they're all different.
They are.
And I think
they have a lot of similar. As someone that's read from like all over the world, there are similarities across them, but they're extremely different.
Yeah,
it's been great.
Yeah, I will say the last bit of vampire media that I consumed was with Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult.
Okay.
What was that called?
Talking about?
Was it called Renfield? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was quite entertaining. We went to see it in theaters with James and Susan. It was gory.
Yes, it is.
Don't get me wrong. It is rated R for a reason.
And you made it through it okay?
Yeah, it was funny.
It is.
Like, it's not labeled comedy. It's labeled horror, but it was funny.
Well, I thought it was supposed to be a comedy as well. Like, I was like, okay.
Maybe I wasn't supposed to be laughing at some points, but I was.
Listen, it is what it is.
But it was quite delightful. If you haven't watched it, go watch it.
Do you have any other vampire series that you really like that you would recommend?
I have not. Okay. I've read the book Interview with a Vampire, and I have watched the movie with Tom Cruise. I have seen one episode of the new series. It is not for me. It is a lot of Bianca Nono, and they take great liberties with the book, which I understand. I can see the interpretation. I get it. It's just not for me.
Yeah. I have read the entire Interview with the Vampire series, and as you guys all know, I started trying to do the Maehrer witches.
Yeah. But I did like that book. I did not continue the series, but I remember liking it. It was very in-depth, and I liked the way that the vampires were portrayed. Again, they were kind of humanized, and you see their struggles and how they're dealing with being a vampire. Especially, what's her name? The little girl. I forget her.
If you hadn't said it, I could have told you.
Yeah. But her whole backstory was very, very tragic, and just being stuck in a little girl's body for the rest of your life. My heart hurt for her. Claudia.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that. I'd be like,
it just came to me.
Huh?
Isn't it Claudia?
Oh yeah, Claudia.
It just came to me.
I do feel like, though, if you were changed as a vampire, that, like, I read a story once, and I wish I could remember, where if you're turned as a child, you keep aging until, like, I think for some reason, for whatever reason, and I wish I could remember what story this was, because I found this so fascinating, because I'd never heard anybody do this before, but they did it where, like, if you were turned as a child, you kept aging to, like, 60,
until your body matured.
Yeah, basically until you were, like, through puberty, essentially. And then it was like, that was it. You didn't age anymore. So, like, for a long time, you could get away with people, like, you know, the whole, like, how is she always a child? How does she look the same? You know, like, how is she not aging? Because if you think about it, if you have a kid, so if you're hiding out in a town as vampires, right? And they talk about this a lot, how they have to move or continuously move around. As an adult, you cannot age for about 5 or 10 years, and people just make the joke of like, oh, you age so well, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can get away with it. But when you live in a household with this vampire kid and they're like, okay, it's been 3 years, they don't look any different. They're not getting any taller. They're not getting any, like, what is happening?
Yeah.
So I kind of I'm going to try to Google and research that. But like I said, there was a series I read one. I don't even know if it was a series, but, like, I remember the author was, like, explaining, like, oh, if you're turned as a child, like, your body still has to go through the change fully. Yeah. And I think it even, maybe you didn't become a full vampire, almost like you were like a
half.
Yeah, you were like, you were getting there. You still had to have the blood and things like that. But I thought that was fascinating because the idea of turning like a 7-year-old and them always being 7.
Yeah, no. That's depressing.
It's not just depressing. I'm thinking of, I raised a 7-year-old. I don't want a perpetual 7-year-old. You know what I'm saying? I'm just...
Okay. Well, that is pretty much going to conclude our Twilight discussion. Mm-hmm. As you can see, Miranda and I both very much love this whole series.
We didn't actually talk as long as I thought we did. Or thought we would, rather, about it, you know.
Please share with us if you are also a Twihard. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your past about it, your interactions with it. Are you as passionate about it as we are? Let us know.
Favorite book and favorite character. Favorite book and favorite character. Oh, like, okay. I want everybody to tell us their favorite book and their favorite. You already did.
Yeah. No, I was like, I already did that.
I know you did. I was telling everybody else to tell us their favorite book and their favorite character. I guess we'll favorite movie. Just throw it out there. No explanation.
Do you have any recent reads and acquisitions, Miranda?
Oh God.
I hope not, since you're moving.
Ma'am, what message did you get from me when I was in London?
I know. I was trying to call you out.
Well, listen. I knew this was going to happen, and I went with this plan. So, as you guys know, I discovered that I could order from Waterstones. What, almost 2 years ago now, maybe? Year and a half? So, I've been placing orders on Waterstones and building points. And when you live internationally, you can't turn in points. She's dancing.
I feel, because the way you said points, I was like, shots. That's what I feel like you were doing in the bookstore.
I probably was. My friend Juliana, who she does read, she's like, you read so much faster than me. I was like, that's not the point. It doesn't matter. You read.
I can see Miranda walking up in the store and be like, shots every Friday.
So I'll just tell you real quick. You should have seen me. So one of these locations is 6 stories.
It's a lot of books, man.
My brain exploded. She takes me to the list on the wall. She's like, okay, what floor do you want to go to? And I was like, I made it through 2.5 floors before I was like, okay, one, there's baggage weight.
Yeah.
Because I had to fly, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't so much worried about moving because, like, I'm just going to put it in the box, right? It's going to go in the box. It's going to go on the ship, and we're not going to think about it. But I was like, I'm flying home. Like, we didn't drive. I'm flying. So, like, I have to, like, be reasonable. Mm-hmm. And we had somewhere to be after that bookstore session. But I've been building these Waterstones points, and I knew I was going to London, and I was like, I'm not losing out. It was 40 pounds, which is almost 50 American dollars worth of books that I could get for free. So one did, plus some.
Well, tell me what you acquired.
Okay, so to give you a quick breakdown, I went to the bookstore inside the Bodleian Library. So at Oxford,
Yeah.
I went to the bookstore at Oxford. Also, there's this very old, well-known bookstore in Oxford called Blackwell's. I went there. And then I went to this tiny, fantastic, I wish it was my everyday bookstore called South Kensington Books.
Oh, that sounds quaint.
It was fantastic. I have a video that'll go up of that soon. I've been doing videos of all the bookstores we went to.
Yeah.
I went to one called Rare Books and Curios.
Ooh.
I met the owner, Tom.
I think I saw your video for that one.
Yeah, I posted 2 on Bells with Books and 1 on my personal page.
Yeah.
Because I loved it so much. I met Tom, who realized I was an Alice fan and let me hold with my bare hand. He was like, oh, I have a whatever printing. It's not a first printing, which I did get to see. And I did cry. So we could have an entire podcast about my book. I literally went on a giant book adventure in London is what I did. I went on a giant book trip. So I went to his bookstore and he had a very rare printing of Alice in Wonderland that had a letter from Lewis Carroll that he used to write to everyone at Christmas in the front of it. Like he had put it in the book and had given, and he was like, oh, I have this copy. And it's like behind a locked glass door and he goes and gets it out. And the man just hands it to me. And I was like, no gloves, no nothing. He's like, here. And I'm like trying to like sniff it. I'm like wanting to like sniff it, but him not think I'm weird. And he's like, no, smell it. I'm like, oh, you're as weird as I am. This is great. I took pictures of it. I took video of it. And I was like, it was $500 and something. So it went back in the case.
Yeah.
A little too rich for me. Look, one day.
Yeah.
I'm saying if I ever win the lottery, people won't know, but there might be signs. I'm ready to fly into London all the time to buy every edition of Lewis Carroll's Alice. I did see the first printing of Alice in Wonderland, though. It was on special exhibit through the Bodleian Libraries. I didn't even know it was going to be there. It's just like
just a happy accident.
It was a happy accident, and I absolutely cried, and I spent like 10 minutes in front of this book. You can't touch it at all. It's like behind glass. Like, it's fully enclosed. Like, you cannot touch it. And I was like... Rare Books and Curios, and then I did 2 different Waterstones locations. I did one small one in Kensington, so that, because I needed like one more point to push it to the amount. I had one little whole like bookmarker to fill in. So we went to that one first so I could buy $10 worth of books just so I could get it to pop over.
Yeah.
And then I went to the 6th floor Waterstones. And then I went to the magazine / book stand inside the Stansted Airport. So
yeah.
I feel like when you hear about how many bookstores I went to, I behaved very well. I will not tell. I'm not going to force Bianca to write out every single one of these. I was
like, give me the ones you're most proud of.
Okay, I'm going to make a TikTok about this one, and I would show it off to you right now. I should have brought it upstairs to show it off to you. I will say one of the ones I am most proud of, another happy accident, a book I wanted, was Dan Brown's new book, The Secret of Secrets. So it's completely set in Prague. And it even has a blurb in it in the front that tells you the locations, the societies, and different things like that are all real. And then the people are fictional, unless they're talking about a historical figure. So it has a map of Prague. And I was like, I know this. But I knew I wanted this book. And when we got to the big Waterstones, the 6th floor one, because it literally had just released that week, they had a display, hardback, signed, half price.
What is it? Oh, Secret of Secrets?
Yeah, Dan Brown's Secret of Secrets. It had just released that week.
Yeah.
It was
How was it half price?
It was on. They had a special deal with him.
Oh.
All of that, and signed.
Yeah.
Half price.
Okay.
£12.
Okay, Waterstones.
I know. I was like, I see you. I was so excited. And I was a little bummed because he actually came to Prague and he did this big promotion since it's fully set in Prague. And it was the night before I was supposed to be in London. So there was like no way I could attend.
Yeah, no.
I was like, of course, the man comes to Prague. And I'm like, I live 2 hours away. And then I'm like, and I'm in London. Which, I mean, so that was one of the books I got. Another one that I've already finished, I really liked. I've never heard of this book, and I picked it up from the South Kensington Books, which was very quaint. You would have loved it. It was very tiny in there, though, and I've never seen so many people. A lot of people be shopping at bookstores in London. I'm not even going to lie. Like, I was so happy to see that many people at the bookstore at one time.
Good.
I mean, I wanted it cleared out for videoing purposes, but, I was also very happy that many people were buying books,
Yeah.
But it's called Occult London, and it explains like the history of the occult in London and like what it went through, how people thought it was bad, and then like what it actually derives from. And that's by a guy named Merlin Coverley.
Of course, it's Merlin.
Yeah, it's probably
Coverley. Okay, let's make sure I'm spelling it correctly.
Yeah. So I got those two. Super excited about that. And then I got a bunch, but I'm only going to give you one more because I know you put these in the list and I won't like bombard you. To be honest with you, I got one.
She's counting, y'all.
I'm counting the picture. 15. I bought 15 books.
That's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
It's not as bad. Technically, I bought 18, but 3 of them I didn't pay for and was asked to pick them up.
Yeah.
Hayden wanted a new copy of White Dwarf, which is a Warhammer magazine that comes out every so often. My mom wanted a Peter Rabbit book for my nephew because I grew up with Peter Rabbit, so she wanted, and it's another very London thing.
Yeah.
And I did get a special copy of Alice in Wonderland for my niece.
Mm.
So, like, I technically did buy like 18 books, and I did buy a bunch of magazines, but they're gifts, like, for people. But the other one that I got, and I actually already had this book. However, my deep love of Janice Hallett that I have discovered. Mm-hmm. So there was a copy of her book, The Examiner, which I do technically already have, and I haven't read it yet. But Waterstones has a lot of books where they do buy one get one half price.
Okay.
Paperbacks. And they include signed editions.
Oh.
So I got a signed copy of The Examiner. And
okay.
I think what I'm going to do is like put it up, and then I'm going to read the other copy and then give it to my friend that I know also wants to read it. So technically I've purchased that book before, but I was like half price and signed. Yeah.
Can't beat it.
But yeah. I'm telling you, I'm very jealous of all the people in the UK that get to constantly go into a Waterstones. I feel like their prices are extremely fair. Also, it seems like they constantly, in every single one of them, there were multiple tables of like buy one, get one half price. And that's honestly why I ended up with as many books as I did, is because like when I got The Examiner, I bought another book that you had to buy that, get that one half price. And then the first night that I went in to get my extra point, to get enough points to get the full 40 pounds worth of books the next time, the way I did it was I was like, wait, this table is buy one get one half price. I was like, and that gets the point that I need. So basically I'm double winning here. So like, there are several things that I bought from them that it was like buy one get one half price, which is fantastic.
That's good.
I know. I just need more people to do the floppy books, please. I just finished one, and it reminded me how much I love the
floppy.
The floppy.
Yeah.
It seems that every single one of those I get is all from that underlined.
My copy of Twilight's pretty floppy.
No. What I mean. You know what I mean.
It stays open.
No.
And that may just be because
it's
so old, but...
No. You know what I like. Where it's like...
Yeah.
Bianca is a hardback girl, and I don't know how to describe you guys, but I like those paperback books that are like so just floppy. I don't even know how
they just like magically open on their own.
Yeah, they do.
You really don't have to do much.
And I know other companies put them out, but it seems like it seems like every single one of the ones I have gotten have been from that like underlined press.
Yeah.
Which I found out they have you can sign up to be it's not an influencer, but like where you get sent their books.
Yeah.
And they do it random. Just because you have like 10,000 followers doesn't mean you're going to get picked. So I was like, shall I tell them how much I love their floppy books and see if I can apply? We'll say that. But I did want to tell you guys real quick a funny, because we were talking about dark romance at first. So my friend Juliana that went to London with me, she was a trooper because she is a reader, but she doesn't read as often as you and I do.
Okay.
She's not a fan of fantasy. She's like, I tried, but there's so many different names and places. And she's like, I was so confused. She doesn't do. So there was a bookshelf, a small, like in the, you were a bookseller, you know what I'm trying to say, where it's like off to the side. It's not like part of the big, it's like a small display. And it had a bunch of like, it was like TikTok viral is what it said on top of it. And it was all the dark romance.
Okay.
And I had only read one on there, which was Butchered and Blackbird. I have not read any of the others. Don't plan on it because I know what takes place in all of them. She's like, oh, she knows I'm really into book talk. So she's like, oh, what about these? Should I get any of these? And I picked up the one with the shark incident. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Shark incident.
Where he holds her head under the water. You've heard about it. And there's sharks like at her while he's behind her.
I don't think I've heard of that.
Okay. Well, I get to hear about all the dark romances on TikTok. But she was like, oh, should I read them? So I pick it up, and I'm going to use this as an example. So I keep picking up each book, and I was like, this one, where he shoves her head under the water and kind of from behind while there's sharks. And she's like, ah, no! And then she's like, well, this one looks better. I was like, weird things happen with spiders. And Juliana was like, ah! So then I was like, oh, and in this one? And she's like, I don't know. I want to hear anymore. But I was like, in this one, he stalks her really bad. And then and she's like, what is happening? I was like, those are not for you. Oh, God, it was great. She's like, no, stop. And she's like, and you've read those? I was like, no, and that is why. Those are all the reasons. A little too, No.
Well, I have only acquired one, and it's because it was a pre-order.
But though, last time you had acquired a bunch, and I was like, I'm behaving, and you were Miranda, and I was Bianca, so we flipped again.
So I got the special edition of Assistant to the Villain.
Ooh, move that. Yeah, let me see that. Whoa.
Beautiful sprayed edges, a purple cover with gold accents.
Yeah,
some ASMR. Here's the back cover. It's got you just can't kill people and be pretty. It's confusing. If you read the book, you'll get it.
Well, you know what? Honestly, I have seen that quote many times. It made me think of Klaus. Here's
the inside.
Oh, I love it.
End pages.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna need you to make a video of that for our socials. That's gorgeous.
I'm once again begging everyone to read this series. The fourth one, no, the third. Fourth? I don't know. There's a lot.
Has been pumping these out.
The newest one just came out. I'm hoping, because I don't own any of them. This is my first one that I have purchased. I'm hoping since they did a special edition of the first one, they will continue so that I can continue using them. But it is fantasy office. That's what it is.
Miss Hannah has been pumping these out because didn't Assistant to the Villain come out in 2023? And you said book 4 just came out?
Yeah, it's either book 3 or 4. I forget which one. Well, so this whole series started off her just doing, like, she was not an author. She was a TikToker.
Yes.
And she was just doing original stories, and this set of stories she was doing just took off on TikTok.
She did, and she was adorable. You and I have both followed her for a very long time. She used to do like it was like POV, your assistant to the morally gray character.
Yeah,
and she was really funny. It's book 3, it looks like. Yeah,
okay.
Book 3. Still 3 books.
She just announced the title of the next one, so that's what I was.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. So but you think about it. So even if that one comes out in 2026, she literally has dropped a book. So 23, 24, 25, 26. She's literally dropped a book a year.
Yep.
That's impressive. That's super impressive.
And especially for them to be as good quality as they are, because they are hilarious.
I've only seen a few people say that they did not have really nasty things to say about them. And I will just put this out because I haven't read them yet. You know I have every intention of doing it, but I also struggle when people are like, "You have to read this." I either get FOMO and I do it, or I'm like, "You don't tell me what to do." So I will say the people that I have seen say bad things about this book and Hannah, I feel in my gut are people that just feel like they have to say bad things about popular books. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And you know what? At the same time, I have had somebody that's like, I tried, it wasn't for me. You know what? That's fine though. That's fine. It's not.
Yeah, you at least tried it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like I've always heard it's like Princess Bride meets The Office.
Yeah, that's a accurate description.
And as we mentioned, I don't know if it was last pod or the one before, but it's being adapted.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Into a TV series, which makes accurate sense for what I do know of this book. But yeah, I need you to make a video of that. That is beautiful.
Okay, I can do that. But that is my one and only acquisition. If we want to talk about what I have read, this is a little bit of a spoiler. We are filming in advance for this episode because I'm going on vacation. You're moving. Life's busy. So we are only recording like 2 weeks after the last episode we recorded.
Well, yeah, because I kind of accidentally said that because I was like, it's, yesterday was the actual 20th anniversary. Yeah.
So I've only read a couple of books since the last time we recorded. I read Katabasis by R.F. Kuang. I gave it 4 stars, which is not a bad star rating at all. That's a good star rating. It was a lot more gore than I was expecting. In the very first chapter, you get a very vivid description of someone disintegrating, basically. That's the best way I can think of to put it.
Yeah, you messaged our friend group pretty quickly, and you were like, oh my God.
I was not expecting that. But it was still a great story. It deals with can I spell Katabasis? How do you spell Katabasis?
It is a hard word because honestly, I know people that are like
there we go.
Online and they're like Kabat. I don't know.
Well, and she's also doing a book tour right now, and people keep asking her, "How do you pronounce this?" And she's like, "I don't care how you pronounce it. Pronounce it how you want to." So people say Katabasis. Some people say
a smart ass about it. Like, she seems to like, how sometimes people are like, how do you pronounce this? And some authors will be like, kind of smart assy about it. She doesn't seem to be. She's like, you know what? Just enjoy the book. Say it how you want to say it. Like,
yeah. But 4 stars on that one. And then I also read The Women by Kristin Hannah.
I heard that. Gotcha.
Oh, I was tearing up at the end. Like,
was that your first Kristin Hannah?
I want to say yes. But I want to say that I've attempted The Nightingale at some point, but I could be mistaken on that. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I did not, because I did not mark it. So no, this was my first Kristin Hannah.
Gotcha.
I do have Firefly Lane on my shelf to read because I watched the Netflix series and I really enjoyed it. But I have not read it yet. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so The Women follows one particular woman in the 1960s and 70s who was shipped off to Vietnam to be a nurse in the war. Mm-hmm. It was like I won't say eye-opening, because I realize what all happened over there, and
Right.
it was not a good or pleasant time in the least bit. But for her, because she actually interviewed people who were in the war and actually went and did it, and she wove those stories into this story. And there's some things that she brings up that you just don't think about, especially for the vets coming home, which is what this is referencing, is they were not treated as American heroes like every other war vet is. World War I, World War II, they were all heralded for their bravery, for going to fight for their country. Or even the Korean War, they were praised. And even if you go recent as the Iraqi conflict, or war, if you want to call it that, all of those men are celebrated in current day. But the Vietnam War was just a whole different thing. And it delves very deeply, especially for women at the time in the 70s.
My grandfather was part of the Vietnam War.
Yeah. So it is heavy content, but I think it is very eye-opening, and if you can handle it, it is a great read. I gave it 5 stars. I really have
praise from you. You know,
I have no complaints about it.
I love to throw out some 4 and 5s. It takes Bianca a lot to give a 5.
It does.
She's about to cry now, guys.
Y'all,
and she doesn't cry.
The ending hits hard. It does.
I'm going to save that then. I don't need any added anxiety at this current moment.
Yeah, really no. Wait till after the holidays.
Okay. I will save that one. Because it's one I have been interested in. I love a good historical when it's done right, you know? I think that's my problem with historicals, and why I don't read more is because I get real frustrated if they're not done right.
Well, and I had a lot of, because I looked into what made her write this, and she said she has been wanting to write this book for almost 20 years. But she wanted to do it right and do everything justice. And so she wanted to talk to as many people as possible to get everyone's perspective. She didn't want to gloss over anything. And she does not gloss. It goes deep.
I can thoroughly appreciate that, though. The fact that you're like, I really put in the work.
Yeah. And I'm currently reading, on a lighter note, Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. This is, you can technically call it a prequel, I guess. It is set in the same universe as the Divine Rivals duology, but it really has nothing to do with Divine Rivals at all.
I was going to say, it's supposed to be totally separate.
Yeah, it's completely different. The only similarities is that we are talking about the gods in that world now. I was describing it to Sabrina yesterday. It's like if you mix Roman mythology with Norse mythology, you will get the gods.
You think she's going to pull a Sarah J. Maas and be like, well, they're not intertwined, but they are?
Well, I mean, like, well, if you've read the Divine Rivals duology, you know that you know Dacre and Enba. Yeah. And they're in this book, but that's it. Like, they're not the main characters. These are completely new characters. Like, they were not mentioned in Divine Rivals.
Okay. Gotcha.
But it is so well written. You know, I'm kind of a skim reader. You cannot skim read this, and you don't want to. It is... Where's my book? Let me grab it real quick. Hold on.
Okay. I didn't know how close it was, so I was about to be like, we're going on a trip. A rocket ship.
It was on the side table over there, which I showed you on Marco or whatever, but look at it.
It's beautiful.
It's so gorgeous.
How am I jealous of the hair on a drawn character?
So this is the main character. Her name is Matilda.
Ooh, I like it.
And this belt she's wearing, each of those stones in it is kind of like an infinity pouch, kind of like Hermione Granger's bag.
Nice.
So each of
them, a bag of holding. She has a ton.
But like each stone is like that.
Is Rebecca Ross a D&D player?
I have no idea. And then this is Vincent.
Hi, Vincent. I'm jealous of your hair, bro.
And here's the cover, the end pages is the constellations, because each constellation is connected to a god in this world.
It is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But just to give you like a taste of the writing, first, it's not chapters. Oh, you can't see it. Can you see it? There we go. It's broken down into acts. So we have Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. And then you have little subsections inside of that. Then you also have she calls it a dramatis personae. So a cast. It's like a play. Yeah. And it lists all of them. And then you also have the divine courts, and it's broken down by low court, middle court, high court. And then the more stars in your constellation, the higher in the court you are.
Makes sense.
But this is just like the first few sentences. Once long ago, I believed the god of war was my father, but only because he was the first to hold me in his arms after I was born. His robes were stained crimson from a mortal battle, his cloak torn to ribbons from swords and morning stars, and his skin, warm from a vernal sun, smelled like salt and sweetened smoke. He had come to visit my mother's burrow, far below where the earth is darkly quiet, to ask for her advice on a skirmish, and ended up witnessing my delivery. It's very vivid language.
Yes.
And I am thoroughly enjoying it. I'm on page 168, so I'm about a third of the way through.
Yeah, but look, you were just talking about rogues.
Oh, yeah.
It's a D&D shirt.
Do you have any recent reads you want to mention?
So I will. I have not finished very much. Although I did. One of the books I read I read it through my entire trip because like flying on the plane and just different stuff like that. It's a YA book by Sara Shepard, but she co-wrote it with someone. If you remember, Sara Shepard is Pretty Little Liars.
Yes.
So she co-wrote this with Lilia Buckingham, who I've never heard of, but apparently she is like an Instagram influencer person. And the whole concept of this book is teenage influencers and kind of like the life that it is fictional, but it's like the life they lead. And let's see, it says after a video she makes goes viral, everyone knows Delilah Rollins, and now she's in LA. Delilah's standing on the edge of something incredible. Everything's going to change, and she has no idea how much. Jasmine Walters Diaz grew up in the spotlight, a child star turned media darling. The post of her in classic Lulu C rainbow skirt practically break the internet. But if the world knew who Jasmine really was, her perfect life canceled. Fiona Jacobs is so funny, the kind of girl for whom a crowd parts. No wonder she's always smiling. But on the inside, the girl's a hot mess. And when someone comes out of the shadows with a secret from her past, it's one that won't just embarrass Fiona, it will ruin her. Who wouldn't want to be Scarlett Leigh, though? Just look at her Instagram. Scarlett is styled to perfection. She is perfection. She's gorgeous, has a famous boyfriend named Jack, and there's a whole fan base about their ship. To everyone watching on their lives seem to be perfect. But are they really? The sun is hot in California, and someone's going to get burned. So it intermingles all four of these girls and their stories. There is a murder. It is a mystery thriller, and a lot like how she does Pretty Little Liars. It's like, who did it? Why did they do it? And I will tell you, I usually can figure them out. And I did not see the whodunit coming. I can't hear you for some reason.
You were surprised. Sorry.
I was surprised. No, I was surprised. I gave it 4 stars. It was a floppy book.
Oh, yay.
It was a floppy. And it was like a by chance. I bought this because, before I went to London, Jerry and I went to Košice, and then my friend and I flew together from Košice to London. Mm-hmm. And we went like the weekend before and stayed the whole weekend. And this is one I actually bought while I was just walking around while Jerry was getting a tattoo. Yeah. And I saw it and it was floppy. And I was like, oh, I've never heard of this Sara Shepard. Oh, and it was only like €8, which, for any book is like, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'll take this then. And I finished it during my entire, because our friends that I went to London with, they had things to do before, like the days leading up to us leaving. So I would just like go find a cafe and I would sit down and I would read so much, and then I'd walk a little bit and then move to another one. And yeah, so that's really the only thing I've that, and I already mentioned the Occult London.
Yeah.
I finished that as well. I bought it on my trip in London, and I've already finished it.
You were like, bet.
Well, it was only, I want to say it was one of those, it's like 200 pages. It's not,
okay.
It's not super long. So that's all I've really like finished, because I think everything I finished because we are doing kind of like back-to-back recordings. I haven't finished a whole lot.
Yeah.
In that time span. 2 books in 2 weeks though is not.
No, that's not bad.
It's not bad. Listen, it happens.
And that just means when we record again, we'll have much more to discuss.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm either gonna like
on my trip. I was saying that I have all those Libby holds coming up at the same time.
Yeah.
Right now I have 3 downloaded to read on that plane ride.
Well, that's okay. I also, I messed up. I wasn't paying attention and I went NetGalley crazy.
Oh, goodness.
Well, remember I texted you and I was like, oh my God, it grew. Yeah. Well, because the thing is, you apply for them and a lot of the time, like you can go months and not be selected, right? Yeah. And then this time, so I usually apply for a bunch at one time. And I did, and they said yes to every single one of them this time. And I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, I got a lot to get through. And I obviously, the worst case is the thing is, all it really does is it lowers your percentage on NetGalley. So people won't choose you. So I'm going to try to get through as many as possible, but I wish it was like Libby where you were like, I flew too close to the sun. Please take some back. Please take it back. But, it happens.
Well, if you want even more from us, you can follow me at Style and Freak pretty much everywhere, Instagram, TikTok. You can find Miranda at Mom's a Nerd. Type that in. She will pop right up. You can follow us both, the podcast. We are Bells of Books Podcast on Instagram and TikTok.
And YouTube.
And YouTube, Miranda is working on uploading our back catalog. What episode are we up to now? Do you know? Do you remember?
I think it's 12 is what I have launched. I'm about to drop another set of 4. I just like get them finished.
Yeah. And then do you want to tell us what's going on in the Place to Be Nation world, Miranda?
Yes, Place to Be Nation world. So when you guys hear this, it'll be into October. So actually, you will be getting my lovely stylings if you're part of the Place to Be Facebook group daily. So we have a thing that we do every year called PT Band 31 Nights of Halloween, not to be confused with the actual 31 Nights of Halloween, but we were inspired by them. And this is our version, and I am actually the one that compiles the list, creates the graphics, and posts daily. Thank God for pre-scheduling. I'm going to be transparent. Thank God for that. But we have a different horror/thriller movie that will be listed for your lightning to partake in every day. I had a project I wanted to go along with that, but during moving, it may be more than I can take on, but you might see some pod blasts here and there to cover a few of the different movies through our 31 Nights of Halloween. So be sure to check that out inside Place to Be. And I'm probably going to share it in our stories I'll send it to you as well, B, so it can go on Instagram, but I'll probably share it in our Instagram and TikTok stories as well. So you can partake in that. So that's what we have going on. The YouTube for Place to Be Nation, which is separate from Bells with Books, is going very well. There's a lot of new shows over there, to include one that I have called Bake Off Banter, which is only going to be a thing during Great British Bake Off and when it's active. We are currently, so we will have one every time a show airs, every episode we follow right behind them. And those are up on YouTube and wherever your podcasts are, minus Spotify for technical reasons. But we can be found in so many other places. So please do that. And don't forget, we have placetobenation.com, where you can also get direct links to the full show notes, link to Podbean to listen to the show, and to the YouTube and all of the other shows that we have that are a part of the Place to Be family. So today, for Bianca and I both, we are wrapping up our Twilight discussion. Hard to believe it's been literally 2 decades since we first met. The Cullens, Bella, Charlie, and all of them. And you know what? Whether you're Team Edward, Team Jacob, or maybe you've grown up and now you're like, maybe Charlie Swan. We're just glad that you came along for the ride. So don't forget to join us next time. And as Bianca said, follow us on the socials. Give us that like and follow. And we'll see you next time for more banter, book talk, and of course, the bestie energy that we always give you. But until then, keep reading.